Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we will do the October 2024 regulatory update. But before to start, so let's introduce our sponsor MedBoard. So who is MedBoard?
MedBoard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements, as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, the first topic of today will be the Code of Conduct from TEAM-PRRC. So we have a version 5 now of this Code of Conduct. I just reviewed quickly what was maybe the difference between the version 4 and the version 5. And mainly what I have identified is that they have removed the mention of the directives. They have also reviewed the estimation time for the review of the technical documentation and implementing of corrective actions, also of unannounced audits and recertification. So there are some few changes there. There is also the introduction of structured dialogue. I don't know if you remember, we had this podcast episode with Ralph Genzel from TÜV Süd, and he talked about also this structured dialogue, so they are also introducing that. They are also discussing about the complaints and appeal process if you are maybe not happy about your notified body. So this is also a thing that I mentioned there. So it can be an interesting read for you to just understand as a manufacturer what are the normally code of conduct of notified bodies, so to also see if they are really respecting this code of conduct. So check the show notes and there will be the document and just read and check. But yeah, it's the version 5, so it means that it was not the first issue. It was something that was already existing before. Okay, now we have the TEAM-PRRC again about the IVDR transition period for Class D devices and URLs. So mainly this is a document that is a press release that is explaining about few things related to laboratories that will be needed for the Class D devices. And here it mainly explaining that you need to have the designation of laboratories for reviewing Class D devices. Also the fact that notified bodies will need to work in close collaboration with those laboratories. And lastly, if there is no laboratory specifically for the type of disease that your Class D is dealing with, then notified bodies should find an alternative way to do that. So maybe find other labs or other things that are maybe not URLs. So this is something that is understood. Now the thing is that there are a lot of discussion about involving more and more laboratories. There were 2 campaigns, if I can say, of designation of URLs. So now, yeah, we need more so to help to do this verification, because they have to verify each batch, each performance evaluation for your devices, Class D devices. So they are really needed. Okay, MDCG 2021-4, which is mainly guidance that was issued, where we had a lot of question answers that were defined. So here, this is about again this transition period about Class D devices. So here we had, and it's great now with MDCG. There is now finally this table about modification. So we have the explanation of what has changed because it's a 2021 guidance. So here there are some questions that were updated, questions that were removed, questions that were clarified, etc. So, and questions that were added also to this document to talk about this transition. So if you are a Class D device and you have a lot of questions, this is mainly the documents to go for, and it is revised. So mainly they are taking into account maybe some questions, some comments that they have received before. Next, Swissmedic. So Switzerland is talking about their new database, which is Swissdamed. So since August, normally the Swissdamed database is in place. And now they are asking all the companies that were already registered with Swissmedic to verify that their registration is conform on the Swissdamed until November 13th. So we at Easy Medical Device, we are also authorized representative in Switzerland. So we started to make the check, but the problem is that we have to identify us, our company, again inside the database, and then we'll receive a letter with a certain code that we will have to include on the database. So I ask it, I still haven't received the letter with the code, so I wait for that. And after that, I will confirm that our data on the Swissdamed is done. So you have to do that before November 13th, 2024. Again, Switzerland has sent a letter to all economic operators, importers, authorized representatives to also request you to verify that your manufacturers are still in compliance with the EU MDR and IVDR, or the deadlines that we are defined. Why? Because since the 7th of September, you have now no possibility anymore to be to ask for EU MDR certification or to be part of this extra soft transition period. So we call it like that. So we had the hard transition period, the soft transition period. Now we have the extra soft transition period. So mainly you cannot be any more part of this if you haven't asked a notified body for an application and they haven't approved it. So now they are asking everybody, be careful, by this date, maybe those manufacturers that were looking for this application and this approval from a notified body haven't received anything. So you have to verify mainly that your clients are still compliant with the regulation. So it's what we have done at Easy Medical Device, and everything is fine. But if you are an authorized representative or an importer in Switzerland, check that, because you can be also a manufacturer that is having his office also in a manufacturer in Europe that has an office in Switzerland. So this office is maybe acting as your authorized representative or importer. So this office has also to verify that you, as the headquarter, you are compliant with the legislation. Okay, UK. So the UK MHRA has published a blog post talking about the updates in terms of the regulation. So it's more a news, if I can say, or a story of what happens, etc., which is great, mainly, and it's mainly explaining that they are restarting the review again of the regulation because mainly there were some stops at a certain point due some elections or some changes in some discussion there. Apparently there is a new minister, so some discussion about the changes. So now they are saying that we are restarting, and there are not a lot of changes from what was already agreed beginning of the year. There are just some acceleration in terms of post-marketing surveillance and things that will be done like that. So it's just an information, but yeah, the UK is still ongoing with the update of their regulation, so we'll hear more maybe in the future. Okay, now events. So we have 3 events that are listed also on the medtechconf.com website. So if you want to see the events that we have identified for medical devices or some pharma sometime, so you can go to medtechconf.com and you have a map of all the events everywhere where they are. We try to keep it up to date. So we have selected 3 events. The first one is the TEAM-PRRC event in Malaga in October 17th, so next week. That will happen. Mainly, this is a great event for people that are PRRC and that want to have a more understanding about their role, changes, updates. There is also sometimes the EU Commission that is coming to also, you can have the discussion with them. You have consultants, you have a lot of people. So really interesting to go. I cannot go this year, but I will really encourage you to go. Then we have the Afrisummit. Afrisummit is in Egypt, so it's in November 3rd and until 6th. So I will be there this year also, mainly talking about post-marketing surveillance again, about vigilance reporting. This is a great event also to meet a lot of the competent authorities in Africa, Middle East, and everything in those regions. So if you are going to Afrisummit, don't hesitate to contact me. We can really have also a good discussion. Next event is Medica in Düsseldorf. So November 11th and until November 14th, I will also be there. I will be trying to make some interviews with some people, meet also some of my customers, because we have customers also that are going there. I mean, everybody will be there. So I'll try to organize also a meetup like we have done last year. Still have to see where, because I don't know who is who. So try to organize that so that we can also meet again together, have a good time, have a good discussions. And maybe organize something, I don't know, we will see. But yeah, if you are going to Medica, don't hesitate also to let me know, and then we can have maybe a place where we all meet together and discuss about medical devices, I think. Okay, next, notified body. So we have a new notified body for in vitro diagnostic, which is ISS, Istituto Superiore di Sanità, so in Italy, I suppose. So it's a new for IVDR. And let me check quickly, what is the count of notified bodies for IVDR, actually, because we have a lot. I mean, the thing is that we have now this transition from 2025 that will happen for notified bodies, and there will for in vitro diagnostic notified bodies, and the number of notified bodies hasn't moved too high for the month. 13th notified body for in vitro diagnostic regulation. So is it a lot? I don't know. What I just know is that we are talking now about a shortage, and as we saw before, we talk about a shortage of maybe in vitro diagnostics, and that notified body should try to avoid that. So more there are, better it is. But as we talked also with some notified bodies, they say it's not the number of notified bodies that is important, it's the resources that are available. So even if you have a notified body but they have not a lot of resources, it will not really help a lot. So it's mainly the number of resources that are important. For me, what I would say is more that if we can have notified bodies that are really specialized in certain areas, it will be better, because then we are really dividing the different manufacturers between multiple notified bodies, instead of everybody going to one notified body only, etc. So this is maybe a strategy. Maybe you will think about that listening to this. Okay, now what's happening in the world? So in Middle East, we have Saudi Arabia that has created a guidance for labeling. So mainly, this is a guidance that is explaining how you should label your medical devices in Saudi Arabia. So it's in English. So because each time I'm looking at those legislation in the different countries, the problem is that they are in the original language, so Arabic, or South Korea, for example, is in South Korean, so it's difficult. Chinese, it's in Chinese, China is in Chinese, etc. So you have some difficulty. Turkey also, I have a lot of regulation that are appearing for Turkey, but it's in Turkish, and the problem is that they are putting everything in PDF format, and I cannot translate that because it's in PDF format. I mean, PDF like picture, not PDF like you can just copy and translate. So it's difficult for me then to resume or to summarize mainly what are those legislation. But here, yeah, in Saudi Arabia, it's in English. So this is just a message to say, please, can you make an English version of your legislation so even us, we can understand it, or make it in a format that I can translate it easily through like a web page, or through a document that we can easily translate. So this is mainly the idea if you want us to really report your legislations. Okay, next is USA. We have a webinar that is happening December 3rd, 2024 about registration and listing requirements for in vitro diagnostic and laboratory developed tests. So mainly if you are a company that is having a in vitro diagnostic or health institution that is developing some laboratory developed tests, then you have to register within the FDA, and they are explaining to you how to do that. The fact also that I suppose it's costing money, it's not free to do that, how much it costs also. So yeah, I think if you are in this case, so this is a good webinar to look at. So December 3rd, so maybe we'll talk about that another time again, because yeah, it's Next, we have the USA guidances on dental products. Initially I find one guidance on dental products, and I find a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, etc. So I say, okay, maybe let's make a group. So we have the air-powered handpiece, you have the dental cements, dental ceramics, dental impressions. So 4 guidances. 4 guidances that were issued for those products by the US. So if you have those type of devices that you are selling in the US, there are guidances specifically for that, which are telling you the pathway for registration, all the requirements for it, etc. So don't hesitate. Go on the show notes. We have just placed the link. You just click on with the one that you are needing. Okay, now Canada. Canada is issuing a policy on drug and device combination products, so like the Article 117 for EUMDR. And they are mainly explaining who is who. So which device is drug, which device is medical device, which device is not anything of those, because there is also a section for none of those. And mainly, it's exactly the same arguments as what we have on the EUMDR. If your device finality or intended purpose is to use pharmacological, immunological, or metabolic meal as its principal action, then it's a drug, even if it's combined together like a pre-filled syringe. But if your device primary action is not pharmacological, immunological, or metabolic, etc., then it's maybe a medical device. So you have to have this thing. But here it's explained, it's mainly explaining the rule and giving you some examples also. So Canada has made this easy for you to understand. But as I said, we are really, I think all the countries are trying to harmonize this, even if there are some differences sometimes. So don't take it as everything that you are doing in Europe is the same in Canada, but yeah, just check that. Okay, now South America, we have Brazil that bans some products. Which products? Thermometers and sphygmomanometers. I don't know if it's the one that you have to blow on it, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. So something like that, thermometers and sphygmomanometers, sorry for that, with a mercury column. So apparently the mercury column is the problem. So they are banning any products that have these kind of things. I haven't made any research, but maybe there was some vigilance reporting or some issues about it, because usually when they are making this kind of ban, it means that there was some big issues in the country about that. Otherwise, maybe there was some lobby that don't want that anymore, or there is some health issues. I don't know. But they are banning that. So if you are selling products with some mercury columns on it, then maybe you have to understand that and stop selling these products before they are asking you to make a recall of all of them. So yeah, don't hesitate to check these elements, this article in the website, and it is a web page, so I can translate it and I can read everything. So just to make again a link between what we talked before. Okay, lastly, podcast. We have 3 podcasts. The first podcast, I haven't even, let me again open it. 3 podcasts. So we have the first podcast, which is how to do a PMCF, literature search for medical devices, with Cesare Magri. So mainly we are talking here about doing some check on some databases for how to verify some information for PMCF. So don't hesitate to check that. It gives you a lot of tips, a lot of ways to do it easily and to make it work for you and for your company. So yeah, it can be considered like a training, a free training, because here within a few minutes he will explain to you things. But yeah, you can also contact Cesare Magri if you have any question about that. Second, we have UK versus Europe versus US, how to switch to another region easily. And we have Claire Dyson from DQS, so the notified body DQS, that is explaining to us the fact that you can recycle some of your documentation that you have used for Europe to go to US, or from US to go to Europe, or even for UK, Europe, etc. So it's not like you are working each time again from scratch to any country. You can reuse exactly what you have already done before. But yeah, there are differences. So you should not say that, oh, my product is approved in Europe, so it can be easily approved in US. No, it's not, completely different region, so you cannot check that. But yeah, check this. And as I said at the beginning with Claire, we have made just a small recap of the situation of the UK. As we said before, they are updating legislation, so you can also listen to that few minutes, some minutes before, to just get what is actually the situation in the UK. And lastly, we have Lucas Pianagonda, who is helping us to understand more about how to select the best plastic for your medical devices. We know that when we are doing a design of medical devices, we have maybe to use some material. We decide to take plastic this time, but mainly how to select the plastic, how to verify that the plastic is correct, what are the tests to be done, which plastic is maybe forbidden already, like with the ones maybe with phthalate or with or other substances. So mainly he will explain to us exactly how to do that, and what he's saying can be also used for other materials also. So don't take it only for plastic. Plastic is one example, but you can do the same exercise, or maybe some of the elements that we discussed for also other materials, so that you are selecting also the right material for your medical devices. Okay, so it was a pleasure to have this short and quick regulatory update with you. So I hope it was helpful for you and your company to understand that. If you need any support for making your projects, like quality and regulatory affairs projects for Europe or US or other countries, if you need an internal audit, if you need also supplier audits, we have auditors all over the world that can do your supplier audits. If you need an electronic quality management system, if you need whatever quality and regulatory affairs for medical devices, don't hesitate, contact me and we'll be really happy to help you. Okay, thank you very much and I wish you a nice day.